David Walliams, the famous comedian and author, recently made headlines with some bold statements about the return of his iconic sketch comedy show, Little Britain. As one of the creators and stars of the show, Walliams shared that he's excited about the potential of Little Britain coming back to the screen. But what really caught people's attention were his comments about offense and comedy, particularly his assertion that it's exciting to be offended. In an interview, Walliams explained that Little Britain was always a show designed to push boundaries, break taboos, and challenge people's comfort zones. The show, which first aired in the early 2000s, became famous for its sharp satire, outrageous characters, and ability to make audiences laugh by tackling controversial topics. While some of the sketches were seen as groundbreaking, others sparked debates about political correctness and the limits of comedy. Walliams acknowledged that, over time, comedy has evolved, and the lines between what's acceptable and what isn't have shifted. However, he also emphasized that in comedy, it's important to keep pushing those boundaries. According to Walliams, it's essential for artists and comedians to take risks and, in his words, challenge people's sensibilities. He went on to say that it can be exciting when people feel offended because it means the comedy has had a real impact, forcing them to question their own beliefs, values, and the world around them. This stance has certainly stirred some conversation, especially in an era where cancel culture and sensitivity to offensive content have become major topics in the entertainment industry. Some people argue that comedy should evolve with the times, being mindful of the diverse audiences it reaches. On the other hand, Walliams seems to believe that humor has a role in confronting uncomfortable truths, and that sometimes people need to be reminded of how easily they can be offended. In the same interview, Walliams expressed that the return of Little Britain would reflect this mindset. He and his co-creator, Matt Lucas, are working on bringing the beloved characters back, but with a modern twist. While the show will retain the outrageous humor and memorable sketches that made it famous, Walliams hinted that they are considering how to adapt the content for today's audience, making sure the comedy still hits hard without losing its edge. Walliams went on to explain that Little Britain was never meant to be offensive for the sake of it, but rather to highlight the absurdity of societal norms and human behavior. He believes that comedy has always been a way to shine a light on issues, often by exaggerating them to the point of ridiculousness. Little Britain, for example, was known for its exaggerated portrayals of British culture, mocking everything from politics to social issues. Characters like Vicky Pollard and Lou and Andy became cultural touchstones, pushing the limits of how far humor could go. The idea of Little Britain making a comeback has sparked a lot of debate among fans and critics alike. Some are excited to see how Walliams and Lucas will bring their famous characters into the 21st century, while others are more cautious, wondering if the show's brand of humor still has a place in a world that's become much more aware of diversity and inclusivity. Walliams' insistence that it's exciting to be offended suggests that he's not afraid of the backlash. He sees the potential for comedy to spark conversation, even if that means challenging societal norms or upsetting people's expectations. For Walliams, comedy is not just about making people laugh, it's about making them think, even if it makes them uncomfortable. As the world of comedy continues to evolve, it will be interesting to see how Little Britain navigates the balance between bold humor and sensitivity. One thing's for sure, with David Walliams behind it, the return of Little Britain is bound to be anything but boring. Fans of the show are eager to see how the duo will push boundaries once again, while staying true to the essence of what made Little Britain a groundbreaking show in the first place.